A Narcissism Checklist. Understanding the Signs and Behaviors. From the editorial staff of understandnarcissism.com. What is narcissism? Narcissism exists on a spectrum. Some individuals may display narcissistic traits without meeting the criteria for narcissistic personality disorder, while others may fully exhibit the characteristics of this pervasive disorder. There are different types of narcissism, including grandiose narcissism, the overt, more obvious form, and covert narcissism, the quieter, more hidden form. Both types can have damaging effects on relationships. The Narcissism Checklist. The following is a list of behaviors that are commonly observed in individuals with narcissistic tendencies. Check the boxes that describe behaviors you have experienced with a particular person. 1. They lack empathy. This person has little regard for the feelings or needs of others, and is often unable to genuinely understand or relate to the emotional experiences of others. 2. A constant need for attention and admiration. They seek excessive admiration and attention, often in ways that make them the focus of conversations or situations. They might crave praise for their achievements or even mundane activities. 3. Exaggerates achievements and talents. They frequently exaggerate their personal or professional accomplishments, talents, or successes. They may seem to one-up others or make everything about themselves. 4. A sense of entitlement. They believe they deserve special treatment or privileges, regardless of the situation. This entitlement may manifest in expecting others to cater to their needs or wants without reciprocation. 5. Manipulative behavior. They manipulate others or situations to control them. Depending on their personality type, this can be overt, such as bullying and threats, or covert, using guilt-tripping or playing the victim. 6. Preoccupation with fantasies of success, power, or beauty. They fixate on fantasies about success, power, beauty, or recognition as if they are unique and superior. They may daydream about grandiose achievements or expect others to see them as extraordinary. 7. Takes advantage of others. They are willing to exploit or take advantage of others to get ahead, and often lack remorse when using someone for personal gain. 8. Highly reactive to criticism, known as narcissistic injury. This personality type is extremely sensitive to criticism or perceived slights. When they feel attacked, they may react with anger and deflection or try to shift blame onto others. 9. Lack of accountability. They avoid taking responsibility for mistakes or failures, often blaming others or external circumstances. They refuse to acknowledge their role in conflicts or difficulties. 10. Shifts blame and gaslighting. Frequently shift blame onto others, making those around them feel responsible for their negative behaviors. They may also engage in gaslighting, making you question your perception of reality. 11. Envious of others or believes. Others are envious of them. They frequently envy others or assume that others are envious of them. This trait often comes with a sense of superiority over others. 12. Displays arrogance and superiority. Acts with an attitude of superiority, believing they are better than others and displaying arrogance, especially toward those they consider beneath them. 13. Exploits relationships. Sees relationships as transactional and will often exploit friendships, family, or romantic relationships for personal gain. 14. Has a false self or persona. They create a false image of themselves to present to the world, overemphasizing their success or hiding their vulnerabilities and insecurities. 15. Hypersensitive to status. They are overly concerned with their perception of status, wealth, or appearance. This characteristic is especially prevalent in covert narcissism, where they may quietly seek to outdo others while masking their insecurity. 16. Requires excessive compliments, but is unwilling to offer genuine praise to others. They crave compliments and positive reinforcement, but often withhold praise from others. They may deflect conversations away from other people's achievements back to themselves. 17. Takes credit for others' work. They often take credit for others' accomplishments or downplay the contributions of those around them to make themselves appear more capable or successful. Covert narcissism has its own set of specific traits. Add these to the checklist as it relates to this form of narcissistic behavior. 1. Passive-aggressiveness. They display indirect hostility, often through sarcasm, silent treatment, or subtle insults. They may sulk or withdraw to punish others without direct confrontation. 2. Victim mentality. They often cast themselves as the victim in every situation, even when they are the aggressor. Covert narcissists are adept at portraying themselves as misunderstood or unfairly treated. 3. Quiet superiority. Believes they are better than others but avoids openly bragging. Instead, they may criticize or belittle others behind the scenes, quietly maintaining an air of superiority. 4. Chronic feelings of inadequacy. While they may act superior, covert narcissists often struggle with deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. They compensate by seeking sympathy or validation from others. 5. Extreme sensitivity to rejection. They feel injured by perceived rejection or failure. They may brood over small slights for extended periods, often responding with withdrawal or silent treatment. How many of these narcissistic traits need to be present? Narcissism exists on a spectrum, and not all individuals who display narcissistic traits have narcissistic personality disorder, commonly known by the acronym NPD. However, if someone you know consistently demonstrates many of the behaviors we have listed, it could be a sign of narcissistic tendencies, or NPD. For example, as a gauge or benchmark, consider the following guidelines. Mild to moderate narcissistic traits. If 5 to 7 of the above behaviors are consistently present, the individual may have narcissistic tendencies, but may not meet the criteria for full-blown narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD. Severe narcissistic traits, or narcissistic personality disorder. If you observe more than 7 of these behaviors regularly, and these behaviors significantly impair relationships and life functioning, it may indicate narcissistic personality disorder. A mental health professional would need to make the diagnosis. If you recognize these behaviors in someone close to you, taking steps to protect your mental health and well-being is essential. Narcissistic relationships can be emotionally draining and harmful. Seeking professional advice from a therapist experienced in narcissism and narcissistic abuse is crucial for understanding how to navigate or exit these relationships. This checklist does not substitute for professional diagnosis or medical advice. It can help you recognize behaviors that may indicate narcissistic tendencies, prompting you to seek further information and support. Only a qualified mental health professional can diagnose narcissistic personality disorder,